Welcome, listeners, to a brand new episode of JPOOL GNERD Corner. Hi there, listeners. I am your host, JPOOL from JPOOL GNERD Corner, and tonight I am joined by my special guests. Can you sound off, everyone?
This is Super Geek Chad.
And this is Super Geek Katelyn.
This is Super Geek Amber.
And this is Super Geek Dustin.
Hi there, Super Geeks. Welcome to the show tonight.
Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
And this is actually a special show because not only will I be talking with the Super Geeks about their Super Geek YouTube and website, but I will also be talking to Chad about his cosplaying and art. So this is a multi-layered interview.
It's alright, sounds like a plan, sounds like a delicious layered cake. An audio cake, if you will.
Definitely. Now, Chad, can you tell the listeners who you are and exactly what you do?
My name is Chad Stafford. I've been doing artwork and cosplaying for the past 4 years now. I've gone to multiple conventions, including FanFest, Phoenix Comic Con, Tucson Comic Con, Emerald City Con, and just recently I started a YouTube venture with my good friends. We're doing a YouTube channel called the Super Geek Friends, where we discuss and record and do everything that is geeky. That includes video games, cosplaying, prop making, board games, tabletop, all sorts of stuff.
That's fantastic. Now, I've seen your art. In fact, I've bought some pins from you.
I remember that. That was at Dr. Fantasy's Comics, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think it was Dr. Fantasy. I think that was that DEF CON that I bought those from you?
It was either that or Dr. Fantasy's for a free comic book day, but I couldn't be certain. One of those.
Yeah, I get asked about those pins a lot when they see them. When they have to get up close because they're on my camera bag.
Yeah, you got some of the last of those.
Yeah, I keep getting asked, are there any more? Because, there are a lot of people out there that are big Pokemon fans and also big Legends of Korra fans.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you tell the listeners a little bit about your cosplay?
Oh geez. So I used to work at a comic book store. It was the Pop Culture Experience. It was part store, part museum, and I curated there for a while. And we did a lot of events, and I always saw these amazing costumers. I'm like, I want to do that. That looks like fun. It's like Halloween, but all the time. So, geez, I think the first costume that I did that I even knew what the word cosplay was Nightwing. But if we go even farther back, when I was at the Art Institute of Phoenix for college, LucasArts was coming to our school, and they wanted people to dress up as Star Wars characters. So I got together with one of my friends, and we put together a Starkiller costume, which I guess would be my very first one. And then it just kind of became a thing after that. I teamed up with Alan Amos in Anarchy Creations, and he made a brilliant Commander Shepard costume that I just sat in and helped him whenever he needed it, and we collaborated on some design elements, but he did like 99% of the work. I was just there as a witness to the greatness, and I think that's probably what most people will recognize me as from the past. But more recently, I've been doing a lot of Power Ranger costumes. I mean, I've been the Blue Ranger, the Red Ranger, the Armored Red Ranger, the White Dino Thunder Ranger, and now recently my newest costume being the Green Ranger.
That's fantastic, and I love your Green Ranger as well. It's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, that one's a lot of fun.
Now, I believe I first met you at the Pop Culture Experience.
Yes, yeah, a long time ago.
And I was still Deadpool.
Right?
Yeah, that was a long time ago. It feels like forever. What was that, like 2011?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, so, I mean, it hasn't been super long, but...
yeah, but, like, so much has changed since then, and so many people have, like, moved on or done even greater things, and that's probably what makes it feel like a long time.
Exactly. Now, for your other co-hosts, could you tell us a little bit about yourself as well?
Okay, well, this is Katelyn. I'm a full-time graphic designer and manga artist, and I attend a lot of the Comic-Cons as well. I met Chad back at KikoriCon in Flagstaff, and that's when we became good friends and just have been collaborating on art. And we recently started up this YouTube channel and invited on a bunch of our friends, and it's been a really fun experience.
Fantastic.
Let's see. So I got my start. I'm more of a
This is Super Geek
broadcaster.
Dustin,
Super
by
Geek
the way.
Dustin, by the way. Yeah. So I got my start doing broadcasting. Went to the ASU Walter Cronkite High School for Journalism. Did 2 years on KWSS, a local independent station, with Kevin Gassman, who is still on the airwaves, although I'm not sure which station he's on now. So I'm more of the knowledgeable one behind the scenes with all the audio and tech stuff. But I am a long-time avid gamer, love board games, love geeky stuff, love video games, and all the stuff that we've been doing here lately that we've been diving into. It's kind of like a new experience for me, so I'm really enjoying the ride.
Nice.
This is Super Geek Amber. Hello. My credentials are not as impressive as Katelyn or Chad's. I work at a bank, and my true passion is here at Super Geek Friends, playing games and being mad at Chad.
That's Tiny Toon's fault. That has nothing to do with me.
If you would learn how to jump. But I also have, in the past at least, been big into the art scene, as well as always just really been big into gaming, board games, card games, whatever you name it. I'm willing to try it, RPGs, whatever. So this has kind of been a nice outlet and way to explore all the different genres, as well as to kind of get to experience new things that you otherwise wouldn't really get to try.
We discovered that Amber and I work best when it comes to rage games.
Yeah.
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 Nice. Now, where did the idea for Super Geek Friends, who came up with it first? I mean, whose idea was it?
So, this goes a while back, but in my mind, I had always wanted to do a gaming channel, not really for getting followers or likes or comments or whatever, just because I've had so many great memories of playing games. I also worked at THQ for about 2 years as a tester. And just a lot of fun was had just having crazy conversations. So in the back of my mind, I had always wanted to do a YouTube thing just for the sake of getting this all on camera, just for my sake and not really to make it a show. But I feel like a lot of us here at the Super Geek headquarters have had ideas like that in their heads of just starting something, recording it, and having fun doing it. But it wasn't until one day, I think I was just talking to you, Katelyn, and I'm like, do you want to just actually sit down and do this? Because we had said we were going to do something for a long time, and like, let's just sit down and actually do it. And at that time, we didn't even know what our name was going to be, and we were throwing around all sorts of ideas. And every time we would come up with something, one of us would look it up and be like, dang it, somebody already has that name.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where just Super Geek Friends kind of popped into my brain, and I looked it up and no one had it. I couldn't find anything. So when that happened, I was like, wait a second. If we do this, we don't want to just be another Let's Play channel. We don't want to just do gaming. Super Geek Friends means that we are geeks of everything. So after that idea kind of popped in my head, we decided to sit down and bring in people, close friends, that really had a passion in different areas. So we've got a passion in gaming, we've got a passion in cosplay, we got a passion in prop building. I mean, we've got passion in tabletop and D&D and collecting. For those of you that don't know, the pop wall that's behind most of our live action videos is my collection. So to say that we're collectors is definitely of an understatement. But that's kind of where it formed. And then we did a couple of videos as a test run, and none of them were what we kind of... There's a couple that we posted, like the Five Nights thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of our early videos we have not posted, and we probably never will.
No,
Those
never.
will never see the light of day.
Maybe one day when we're like, oh man, let's go down memory lane. Oh geez,
Not
after.
even...
We'll see.
But after that, we just kind of got the ball rolling, and well, a lot of people think of us still as a gaming channel. We really are putting the emphasis on creating different content. For instance, we have a couple shows. We have the Pop Box, where I talk about pop collecting, because they're constantly coming out with new things, so I'll always have material. Katelyn's going to be doing a show starting in our second season in December that is about indie artists and comic book creators.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've also got a show called Geek Out, where we do unboxing videos, whether it's the Marvel collection box, or it's the new Star Wars one that's coming out, or it's the ones that Dustin and Amber unboxed, which is the
Flex comics.
Yeah, the Flex. So we've got a couple of shows in the works. Oh, and then we also have currently running is our tabletop one, which is
Geeks of the Round.
Geeks of the Round. So we've got a bunch of shows that are either currently in production or we've got planned right now. F-Bomb, yeah. F-Bomb's going to be our show where we challenge each other and we face off in teams.
And we hate Chad.
And normally they're going to involve having to consume something spicy and then having to perform a task in a video game. And if you fail, you will get the F-Bomb, which are these little shot glasses shaped like bombs. And they'll either have, there's two of them, one of them's not bad and the other one's terrible, and it's up to those team members who lose to decide which one they consume. So it's going to be an interesting experience. We're currently in production for one of those episodes, so we're going to keep that under wraps until it's ready to upload and go live.
That's fantastic. And so this will be all video of you, the camera looking at you guys.
Yeah. The only thing that doesn't have, involve a camera is just our Let's Plays, which is kind of like, it's the content that we decided to post the most often because it's the easiest content to do that. I mean, it's a quick cycle. I mean, we record, edit, and throw on YouTube.
And it's still also fun. Like, we enjoy playing all the different games, and the commentary that comes from it, we also feel is a lot of fun and really great for our viewers.
Yeah, I always love the commentary on those Let's Plays. Now, is it all scripted, or do you ad-lib?
Yeah, ad-lib. It's basically what happens, because if you just sat with us at lunch and listened to all of us talk to each other, it's basically the same thing. We're just hanging out and talking and being ridiculous.
Yeah, all of that is completely reactive. The only thing that we really script is the Geek Outs and the Pop Box episodes. Other than that, everything's reactive.
And even those are generally just kind of bullet points as opposed to a script.
That's fantastic. Now, for all of you, what is your favorite and also most annoying game you've played for the Super Geek Friends?
Who wants to start? Should
Okay.
I? We can start at the right side and then work our way over.
So.
Wait, the right side?
Oh,
No, I love that game.
I like Phoenix Wright.
That's a great game.
So I'm torn between two. One of them, I don't think it's ever going to see the light of day on the channel, but I tried out Mirror's Edge.
Oh my god!
And I couldn't get the controls to work. Like, I kept hitting things, jumping around. Like, I love Assassin's Creed and stuff, so I'm like, yeah, this is great. This is like right up my alley. I'll do great. No, I didn't do well.
I was laughing so hard I was crying most of the time on that. Oh, it was so funny.
It was bad. And then my most recent was I've been playing Super Mario World.
Or Super Mario Maker.
Yeah, Super Mario Maker was very, very irritating. But then when I played the Mario World,
Oh,
with
Super
you,
Mario 3D World.
That's it. Yeah, I got really irritated because I get pretty competitive.
And it's not even really a competitive game. Katelyn just decides to make everything competitive. That's just her personality.
Oh, whatever. Not everything.
No.
That's the one with the Wii U pad, right?
Geez, let me think. Tiny Toon Adventures for sure. That game has brought out like the demons, and I mean I have screamed so loud that I almost passed out a few times.
Well, and also you made spit bubbles. That was a really.
I did, like just foam came from my mouth at some point.
Like I wasn't bullshitting in that recording. There were bubbles coming out of your face. But I was afraid for
It
you.
was really bad.
Oh man.
I had to lay on the floor for a while because I was so lightheaded.
The best part about that is you can audibly hear the spit bubbles on your mouth.
You can, yeah. Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna go with that one.
I am going to also agree and say Tiny Toons has been a lesson that sometimes our childhood memories are not accurate.
It started out so sweet. It really did.
We really thought we were gonna have so much fun, and I get so angry, and then we have to take a break and like go for a walk or go get food, just something to calm ourselves.
Yeah.
I feel in our youth, we might be just a little more patient than we are when we're adults.
Yeah, because everything at that point's like new, and you're taken in by the world. Because at that point, when we're kids, it's not a retro game; it's a new game, so it's exciting. But now we're going back, and the nostalgia glasses get ripped out of our face, and like I just imagine like Jim Carrey from The Mask, just like it's coming, he's pulling the mask off, it's like in the nostalgia mask, like oh!
Either that, or we used to be really good at the game, and our reaction time has slowed down.
Or we just weren't as good as we thought we were.
Right.
Yeah, that's happened a few times.
That's probably more true.
I know that's true because recently I just recorded a Spider-Man from 2001 with my brother.
That was the PlayStation game, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we had it on the PC, and we thought we were hot shit back then. And we replayed it, and Michael jumped off the buildings about a dozen times. I was like, Michael, just use the swing.
Was this the one back in the day when like he would just web into the sky?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
God's like, I got this. Just keep webbing him up here.
Yes, it was that one.
Yeah, that's the cartoon, the Saturday morning cartoon version.
Right.
Yeah.
Dustin,
what's your worst experience?
Oh my gosh. So the actual worst experience hasn't even aired yet, but from Super Meat Boy, I go.
Oh my God, yes.
I go from moments of clarity to like I get mad at things that I didn't even remember or that I hated. I think I shit on Grandpa Joe from.
You did. You shit
Willy
on Grandpa.
Wonka and the Chocolate Factory at some point.
You did, yeah.
And then oh my gosh, in the episode that's in the can, in the second boss level of Super Meat Boy, the enemy's name is Chad. So it's just me yelling at Chad and yelling at Chad.
Dustin actually left the room enraged, and I had to take over for a couple minutes while he cooled down. And I think I beat the boss. I think that made you even more upset.
Here's the worst thing. Here's the part that really gets it for me. How long did we play up until that point? Do you think?
I think we did 4 episodes worth that day.
So it was the PlayStation Plus game, like the next month.
Yeah, that's right.
And I went through the entire point to that point in like 15 minutes. I was like, really?
So that's something that we've discovered is that it is so different playing a game just for recreational and then playing a game while commentating and like trying to always be active in our performance, like talking and making sure that we're being engaging. And it's a weird like parallel where it's just like suddenly just things aren't working the way they should, and it's part of the comedy.
how many times did I replay Tiny Toons?
And then, so this is great. This is a good story because
man.
we're playing Tiny Toons, and I'll forget to do a save state, so we have to reset the Genesis. And I kept making Amber go back and replay the levels we'd already played, but then we found out, because we just aren't paying attention half the time to some of the gameplay elements, and we found out that there's actually a level code at the bottom or at the top of the screen that actually lets you go to that level immediately. And I think Katelyn was the one that brought that up because you were watching our episodes on YouTube.
Yeah, I was like, what? And then Amber was complaining. She's like, man, I have to keep replaying. I'm like, don't you guys know there's a level code?
And then at that point, we both just had like the shittiest face. And it's like, Katelyn?
Like, you recorded
Where were you?
Now, have you guys recorded anything for the NES?
No, I think most of it's been on the Sega Genesis so far, the retro games.
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been very Sega heavy.
Yeah, well, that's just because I grew up with the Sega Genesis,
Me
so
too.
that's what always comes to mind.
There's a few games though we want to get to on it.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll probably, just to cut corners, go through a virtual console on the Wii.
Yeah. It's so much easier to go through those routes than to try and get the old consoles to work properly with recording software. In fact, we've had a couple of times where it just kills out altogether. So if we have through Steam, or we'll somehow get it on like the Wii with the virtual console, or some of them have even popped up on Xbox Live Arcade and stuff like that. That's when we started playing Banjo and Kazooie.
Oh yeah,
because it was I want to get the Rareware replay, so we can get all of those games. But right now we're just playing it off of Xbox Arcade.
Fantastic. If you do ever get a chance to record any NES games, you should try, let's see, Dick Tracy and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is definitely on the list.
Oh, it totally is.
Yeah, because there's the remastered one. Are you talking about the top-down one?
I'm talking about the one that is so frustrating that I had more patience when I was younger, but these days, trying to go back and play it, I want to throw something on my television.
Yeah, because there's the top-down one, and then there's the side-scrolling brawler, which I remember from my childhood.
Yes, but there's Turtles in Time is one. That one's a little bit more playable. The first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game is so hard, and that's one of those games for me, like when I was little, it introduced people are going to flash if they're going to die. They're going to flash different colors. And you go, especially even if it's like in the first level there, you're fighting, I think it's Rocksteady. Yeah, and he starts turning like purple and then back and purple and then back and purple and then back, and you're like, what's going on? And then that's how you learn. And it's a great gameplay mechanic. I love that. But that game is so hard, and they got the little chompy robot things. Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah,
we're gonna play that at some point.
The most useless character in the NES Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has to be Raphael. And I love Raphael as a character, just not as a playable game character for that game, because you have these small little size.
Yeah, he has the shortest reach. Yeah, I remember. Okay, now it's coming back to me.
Donatello, gotta go with Donatello, man.
Yeah, you just stand on a platform and just throw that staff down constantly to take care of the enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So he was kind of a cheap character, but yeah, that game is rough to play. And Dick Tracy, the game on NES, is a bitch to drive the car.
I remember that game, but like I couldn't get past 5 minutes of playing it. It just infuriated me so much, and I didn't understand anything that was going on.
Yeah, definitely. Well, are you going to be reviewing any sort of modern-day gaming, sort of like more current gaming, maybe even like Destiny playthroughs or anything else like that?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely talked about it. We have some current games that we played, like Until Dawn. We played during our spooktacular Halloween event. There's some ideas of, because there's a lot of local Mass Effect cosplayers, and I was thinking about getting maybe a few of them to do some Mass Effect versus. So there are definitely, we want to try and get a little bit of every type of gaming genre. Just for whatever reason, we just kind of started out with a lot of retros, because when we started the channel, we just wanted to kind of go back with some nostalgia and play games that we remember so fondly of. I know for me, being a huge Sonic fan back in the day, I wanted to play all the major Sonic games on the show, so we started with Sonic 2. Yeah, so we're going to actually, one of the days of our week is Sonic Saturdays, where we are going to be playing Sonic games all up until, at least right now, the most current release for the major consoles is Sonic Boom, and I know that game's going to be just horrific. But I've never even played that one. I just kind of stopped after Sonic Generation, so it's going to be interesting actually carrying on and not having a nostalgia glass. Is to be like, wow, this is actually terrible. I can't defend it in any way, shape, or form. So.
And I know we have some other modern games. I know my husband, Super Geek Josh, and then my brother, Super Geek Michael. They're planning on doing maybe some League and Hearthstone and a couple other of like those type of games.
Well, we also got more Five Nights at Freddy's coming up too.
That too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. What did you think about the Five Nights at Freddy's releasing sequel after sequel within like a year?
Well, I mean, it's such a simple game mechanic. I mean, I really don't see a problem with it. He's definitely. I know a lot of people give the game flack for what it is that aren't part of the fan base, but from an outside perspective, I mean, I appreciate it for what it is, but I also see where people are frustrated with the simplicity of the game, but. Really, and the guy, I mean, he got us. It is a sleeper hit, and he just rolled with it and kept releasing. I mean, he's not doing anything different than major publishing studios that are releasing an Assassin's Creed every year, or a Call of Duty every year, or a Madden every year. It's really the production cycle of things. We live in an age where people just forget about stuff so quickly. So to stay relevant, I think he just decided to keep releasing game after game.
And I think it also helped him because it was kind of a surprise hype, because you don't expect a game to come out that quick. Like, games do get released pretty quickly nowadays. It's like you said, one a year. But when we found out, there's another game coming out in just like a little less than a couple months, then it was I think that helped keep the momentum going with his games.
I also think he just really wanted to mess with other YouTubers like Markiplier and just release something before the actual date just to see what happens.
Right.
I'm gonna release it on Halloween. Psych! 1 month early.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I like watching his channel. So, let's see. We talked a bit about the games that you had a rough time doing. What are the games that you want to do later in the future on the show?
Go ahead, Katelyn.
Oh, that's tough. I have like a lot of favorite games, so it's really hard to just be like, yeah, let's do these. But I'm really looking forward to. I love the Phoenix Wright series. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed them when I played them on my own, and I'm really excited to continue playing them with Chad. So.
I'm glad you have that. I'm glad you're a fan of these games, Katelyn.
Oh, thanks, Chad. But I'm really excited to get through all the other games, and I haven't played some of the newer ones yet. I'm like waiting to play them on the channel too, so I'm excited to eventually get to those.
There's two games. It's really hard to narrow it down to one, but there's two games. One of them some people would know, and the other one I don't think anybody will know. The first one being Psychonauts by Double Fine.
That is a great game.
I love that game. It's such an underappreciated title. It was so imaginative, and the platforming was really fun. And the controls were just everything about that game felt right, from the art direction to the gameplay to the world. And another game would be Metal Arms, A Glitch in the System. Yeah, you played as a little robot. I think his name was Glitch, and you could take control over bigger robots temporarily and fight guys. It was the first trailer that came out was making fun of Halo. Like, he was going through a box of guns, and I think he pulled out a needler and just scoffed at it and chucked it aside. I'm like, I want to play that game. I want to play the game that's making fun of Halo, and it was actually turned out to be a great game. I have a lot of wonderful memories of playing it with my friends in the versus mode. But I'll say one more, and then I'll move on. I really want to go back and play one of the games that I worked on at THQ. Like, I either want to play Saints Row the Third, Darksiders 2, or Homefront, which I have great and horrible memories about Homefront, because it's not a good game in any stretch of the imagination. No. But, I mean, I could share such wonderful stories about where everything went wrong and why it's not QA's fault, even though everyone said it was. It's like, no, man, we saw all of the problems, just they wouldn't listen to us. They're just like, no, just keep pushing it out the door. It's done. It's like, it's not done. It's like half done at best. It's done. We paid millions of dollars. Okay. So.
Yeah.
So, I have two. We'll go with the more serious one first. I would love to be able to play Resident Evil 4.
Ooh, good choice.
Yeah.
Just because I have just such fond memories playing it as a kid on GameCube. Like, probably the first, like, real, like, story-heavy game I played that I really invested a lot of time into. So that one would be just fantastic. But then the other one, I don't know if anyone will remember this, back on the PS1, I just want to play it because I think it would be funny. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel of the Roses.
I will play that
yes.
with you. Give me a high five.
That was fun.
Sorry, go back.
No, redo the high five.
Why are we all so bad at high-fiving?
Just look at the elbows, man. Just look at the elbows and you won't miss a high five.
Well, I had to high five over Chad. I didn't want to elbow him in the face.
That would have
okay.
been fun.
It's okay.
So the games that I really want to dive into, it's more retro stuff too. I played the crap out of Earthworm Jim and Earthworm Jim 2 when I was a kid.
Earthworm Jim.
And
One game.
I watched the cartoon. Yeah, there was a Saturday morning cartoon.
That's right.
I watched a cartoon that you didn't remember.
I now remember. It was weird. It was like very Ren and Stimpy-esque.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. So I want to jump back into that. I wasn't a huge fan of the one on Nintendo 64, but maybe, because there was a Nintendo 64.
Was it the 3D one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't work well.
The
platforming didn't feel the same.
It was a little bit clunky. The other one is, and this is just a snippet of a memory of a time past. I remember when I wanted, like, when Nintendo 64 came out, and this is a little bit of a tale, I wanted the N64.
Oh, no.
I had a Super Nintendo. My mother, bless her heart, thinks, Oh, I just need
That's how
something
you.
new.
That is how you always start a story where you're gonna shit on that person. You're like, bless their heart, but damn it!
Yeah, that's what's about to happen.
Yeah. She just thinks that I want something different, something new. So we take all of my Super Nintendo games, my Super Nintendo, we go to a pawn shop, and then we trade them in for a Sega Genesis and whatever games they had.
Oh no.
Part of that was there was a game based on a cartoon called Mighty Max, and I remember it being very difficult, so I want to go back and find it and see if I can conquer it.
Conker's a different game, actually.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Chad.
Ow! I got hit from like 3 different people. Jeez, the love.
But the word association.
Yeah, but still.
Now,
Yeah, Mighty Max,
Yeah.
Dante's Inferno for children.
Definitely. Now, from each of you, who are you guys PC, Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo? Because there's always been a war between all of those, and a lot of times PC comes out on top with the, at least the cost of the games, also graphics-wise, because you can always upgrade your PC. But what are you guys?
So for me to preface, I wasn't allowed to have consoles as a kid. So I grew up on PC. So I always have a really great affinity to PC, and then I only had my Nintendo, like the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance. So I'm more PC, but the close next runner, I love my PlayStation. Like, I'm PlayStation all the way if you're gonna do a console war.
1, 2, 3, 4. Which one?
I have the 4.
If you had to pick out of all of them, what brought you the most joy?
Ooh.
Just this is for my own curiosity now.
I really liked, like from just the PlayStations?
Yeah.
Okay, I loved my PS3
Okay.
because I played Alice Madness Returns,
Good
Assassin's
game.
Creed
Really
Black,
good game.
yeah, Assassin's Creed Black Flag,
Also, really good
Mass
game.
Effect. I had some really great games on there.
Geez, growing up, I was primarily a Sega kid, just because everybody on the block had a Super Nintendo. So I'm like, oh, I'll do something different. This is Chad when he's 4 years old. He sounds like Mickey Mouse.
Chad was a weird kid.
I was a weird kid. I'm still weird. So I had a Sega Genesis and instantly fell in love with the character Sonic the Hedgehog. I just thought he was awesome, which he was marketed to be the rat-tad 90s guy. So I was like, yeah, I totally like this kid. He was started off at like friggin' 12, now he's like 19 perpetually for the rest of his life, so I feel bad for him. The Hedgehog's lived 3 years total, 3 to 5 years, so maybe we've seen a multitude of Sonics. He's like 007, there's just a new one every so often.
It's just
Or
a
he's
title.
a Time Lord. Yeah.
Right? But, I mean, I've played on every console. I mean, I had a Sega Genesis, I had a Sega Dreamcast, Nintendo 64, PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PC. I mean, I didn't play a lot of games on PC just because I was always doing cartoons and drawing, so like my PC didn't have room to play games on it. So I would say with any of those, I didn't play a lot of PC games. So I would say I'm probably more of a console guy than anything else.
I'm also pretty console heavy. Growing up, I had basically every kind of console just because, my parents, I went between 2 different houses, so one parent would have one kind of console, the other would have the other. So I had the Sega Genesis, I had a Dreamcast, I had the SNES, and then there's actually pictures from when I got the N64 for Christmas, and my sister's trying to be like, oh, we both got it. I'm like, no, bitch,
you didn't.
this is mine.
I remember so vividly the Christmas of getting the N64 and just playing Star Fox until like midnight. Never staying up that late ever as a kid, and just could not put Star Fox 64 down. It was like the best.
I love the Clash
Oh, yeah.
because the Christmas I remember was the one I got gypped and I got the Lizzie McGuire board game.
Wow, I'm so sorry.
So
Do you want to play that on the channel?
Let's
Do you want
not.
to play that on Geeks of the Round?
I never played it. I never opened it. We took it to Goodwill
Wow.
like a year later.
You know what? That's probably the best use of that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Goodwill is even like, nah, you can just leave. You can just
Leave it in
keep
the
that.
trash.
Right.
Or, in terms of a favorite, though, for the nostalgia factor, probably the N64, just because I spent untold number of hours playing Zelda. I got the that battery that you had to get.
Oh yeah,
The special
yeah,
battery you had to get to be able to play, what was it, Ocarina of Time?
Uh-huh. You mean like wasn't it the memory cards?
Yeah,
the expansion pack.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
didn't Donkey Kong 64 come with that too?
Yeah.
I remember that. I lost it and then couldn't freaking play Donkey Kong
I had
64.
that. In terms of like modern gaming, it's going to be my PS4. I just love everything I can do on it. I don't have an Xbox One. My roommate does, but so I have limited experience with it. So just from an exposure standpoint, in terms of modern consoles, it's going to be the PS4 for me.
Yeah, and I was always a console kid. I didn't always have the newest thing, so I grew up with Super Nintendo and then a Sega Genesis, and then when I finally got an N64, that was amazing! But then, the PS2 came out, and you're like, I want that now! And so I kind of jumped back and forth. I have no allegiances when it comes to consoles.
This is true.
But the one that I have the most...
I pledge my gaming to no console!
I've got to say, this is where it came down to, is the Xbox 360 I have the biggest attachment to, because it was the first thing that I bought with my own money, and it was also the first thing that I felt screwed over by as a Christmas gift. Sorry, Mom, again, but it's true.
Did she get you one?
No, she got my brother one.
Oh.
She's like, you guys can share it. I'm like, that's not the point.
How much of his stuff did you trade in to get that?
His brother is about 8 years younger
Yeah.
than him, too, so
Oh.
teenage Dustin,
I
elementary
saved
school younger brother.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dustin. Let's all put our hands on you.
Caitlin, put your hand on
I
Dustin.
can't reach it
There
very
we
well.
go.
All right,
Yeah.
you're getting our support now.
I bought that with $300 in change. I counted it first, and I'm not that asshole. So I really love that. That's also one of those things where if you really find out what you love the most when you're stuck, because I had the Xbox 360, I had the PS3, and I had the Wii. When it came down to it, we had to get rid of the Wii.
We did that sweaty Craigslist handshake.
I mean, honestly,
And then-
looking at it, like the Wii was it was not strong coming out of the gates. And that sounds really bad over audio. The Wii was not strong coming out of
my
the gates,
God.
but the console just wasn't that. I mean, it
Why
was
are you
just
giving him such great sound bites?
right.
It was the novelty. It was the novelty of it.
It was the
that sold.
novelty, yeah.
They
Or
sold it.
transfer
They sold
here.
it to everyone. They didn't sell it to gamers.
And even like in my honest opinion, I can't stand the Wii U gamepad. I can't. I feel like I'm holding a TV in my hands, and I don't like it.
I never look at the screen when I play with it.
I have to.
That's also a good soundbite. Good job, Dustin.
I have to like when I play with the gamepad. It's weird because it's not the same as like a DS, and the screen does feel like a television.
Yeah.
Like the resolution on it, I'm like, this shouldn't be this close to my face. It should
Right?
be like,
It's uncomfortable.
Am I the
yeah.
only one who likes the gamepad?
I like the gamepad.
No, I mean, I'll play. I like it enough, but I notice a couple things.
I noticed a couple things. I noticed that when you play Mario Maker, there's a hand over here putting the stuff down, and I didn't notice that until like an hour after I started playing it because I didn't look up.
Yeah, right.
That's fantastic. Speaking of Mario Maker, what is your favorite user-made level so far?
So, at least for us, one of my... I taught high school for like a year, which makes me sound a lot older than I am. But one of my previous students sent us 2 levels, and they were like really nicely made.
Yeah, they weren't difficult, but they definitely were.
They were-
They felt like real levels, I guess is the best compliment I could give.
Yeah, they felt like they could legitimately be in a game, and they were difficult enough that you had to like learn it. You might die a couple times.
There was 1 or 2 cheap shots. I'll
Right.
say that much.
But that was fun.
Yeah.
Like, they were cheap enough that it was still enjoyable, not I wanted to kill
You mean they weren't cheap?
whoever made them. Okay,
They were
sorry.
less cheap.
They were less cheap, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I meant.
Yeah, I was looking online at some of the levels, and I believe there's a level called "Don't Push Anything."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you just don't touch anything at all.
Yeah, that's the auto Mario things. That's really popular in Japan, and that's something that's just kind of carried over.
It's actually carried over from like Happy Wheels is really because Happy Wheels is really heavy into the just let stuff happen. There's so many of them.
Well, like this, I mean, this goes way back though when people were modding the actual cartridge to make these levels. So this was back when like people were doing stuff that they weren't supposed to be doing with modded consoles and modded cartridges to make Mario levels. I think there's something that Markiplier and Brutal Mario. Yeah, that's where that stuff comes from.
Okay.
So those auto levels were like from way back in the day.
Yeah, and a lot of them you make music with them too. So you let Mario run and it makes like a song.
Yeah, that was really impressive.
I was super impressed. That's why it's the top thing last time I checked.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of those levels I watch on YouTube and also watch some people play. They're insane and practically impossible to beat for some of these levels because you have to actually, the maker has to beat the level for it to actually be posted.
Yeah, but like then you run into people like Ross from Game Grumps who his levels are really difficult, but he hides like hidden. Yeah, he hides doors or an invisible block that has like a superstar in it, and there's ways to get around the difficulty of one's own level. Really sneaky bastards.
Nice. Now, to just get away from gaming for like a minute or two, do you guys watch any television shows?
Yeah.
Then love TV. We love shows like Arrow, Supernatural, just all of that stuff. Doctor Who. We're really bad at keeping up with shows. And the only thing we keep up with is wrestling. So if you want to talk
these two are the wrestling
if
maniacs.
you want to talk to me about the current push Roman Reigns is getting and how we don't think he's ready for it and they should push Cesaro instead, we're who you want to talk to. If you want to talk to me about the last episode of Arrow, please walk away because I haven't seen it and I'll kill you.
So I mean, tell you what happened
I don't have TV, so I watch nothing but Netflix. So right now it's been Flash, Arrow. I just started watching Jessica Jones.
Oh, how is it?
It's slow to begin, but I feel like it picks up. I'm not quite there yet, but it's
miniseries.
It definitely hasn't grabbed me like Daredevil did. The first episode to the last episode, I watched Daredevil in one sitting because I could not step away from it. It was so good to me.
Yeah, and then with me, I'm constantly pretty busy with multiple projects. So when I do make time for shows, most of what I watch is a combination of cartoons and a couple live action. Like I love Avatar, Legend of Korra, and when that was airing, Steven Universe.
We watch a lot of Steven Universe.
I love Steven Universe.
So like Katelyn and I actually work together at the same job, so during breaks we'll be the ones watching cartoons while everybody walks by our office like, what the heck are they doing?
Exactly.
They're grown adults.
We're adults!
And we watch cartoons, it's fine. But like other live action, I'm catching up on Supernatural right now, and then I need to watch Daredevil and so many others.
Yes, you do.
Oh my god, we
Yeah.
watched the first half in one sitting.
It's so good.
I have such a long list. I'll get to it.
But we watch like Star Wars Rebels, which we really like.
Yeah.
We Bear Bears.
Oh, We Bear Bears are so cute.
Steven Universe, Star versus the Forces of Evil.
That's another good one. We just finished Over the Garden Wall.
Oh my god, Over the Garden Wall.
That was a masterpiece.
Crazy to the garden.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's like, if I ever get the opportunity to make a cartoon, I hope it's as wonderfully crafted as that.
Oh, it was great.
It's so amazing.
Yeah, so I think all of us are pretty eclectic on all the different shows we watch.
Yes, that's definitely true. And I'm gonna throw out something that is a hidden gem for me, but if anybody likes metal and high school comedy dramas, there is a show, and the Supernatural. So 4 things. There is a show called Todd and the Book of Pure Evil. It's only 1 season, but it is a great season.
Where is that on?
Netflix.
It's on Netflix?
It's from Canada.
Of course.
Yeah, Dustin's the Canadian in the group.
Mm-hmm.
You always need a Canadian.
Yeah, we do. He'll talk about shows I have no idea.
Beast Wars was called Beasties.
Beasties!
Yeah, I didn't know it was Beast Wars till I moved here. Thought it was better to call it Beast Wars than Beasties.
Beasties was... Yeah, most definitely. I can think of a few other things that probably would fit the title of Beasties more appropriately.
I don't know, Beast Machines would have made more sense too.
But I think that was what they called the second season when they went to Cybertron.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot about that because I was too busy watching Beasties.
Beasties sounds like a kid's show where it's just like a bunch of animals that are friends.
Like Superhero Squad?
Yeah,
Like,
like Superhero
it's
Squad,
like-
but animals.
It's like besties mixed with Beast.
The-
We're Beasties.
Just imagine Optimus Prime is just like, we need to work together. Yes.
Help us build the couch.
Beasties.
Build the couch. Coffee table.
All right.
There you
We're sorry. We'll come back to the interview at the end.
That's okay. That's okay. I segue a lot on my podcasts, especially when I have guests on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how old you guys are. I'm about 30 years old, and I grew up in the late 80s, early 90s, cartoons and television shows. Some of my favorites back then were Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers, He-Man, G.I. Joe. Then early 90s, you had Animaniacs, you had Power Rangers, you had let's see, Superman the Animated Series, Batman the Animated Series, X-Men the
Thank you.
Animated Series.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all in our mid-20s, I would say, so we're pretty close to all those things.
Yeah, I'm the baby in the room. I'm
Yes, you
I'm
are.
the youngest. I'm 23. So
So young. Jesus, Katelyn, grow up.
Yeah, nobody likes
hey, I am the most mature out of my 23
I was gonna say-
year old friends. Out of my 23-year-old friends.
No one likes you when you're 23.
Oh, come on.
you.
Please tell me you understood my reference.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Okay.
I wasn't sure. You're right. That's right. You're not Josh.
I'm gonna throw some other ones in there. Freakazoid.
Oh,
Ren and
Freakazoid.
Stimpy.
Good, yeah.
Yes.
Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab. Those were more mine.
Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack.
Samurai
Oh,
Jack.
loved Samurai Jack.
But if you're gonna go back even further, like I watched Pirates of Darkwater, the Herculoids, Centurions.
If you want to go to live action, there was the Hercules one and like Xena.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You're on Netflix right now.
Sinbad.
Perfect.
Every Saturday.
I remember I have the most fond memories of like running home from school to watch Toonami. Like Toonami was my
Yes.
jam.
That's what
Yes.
got me into anime to begin with. I'm like, oh yeah, Sailor Moon and DBZ. Yes.
Oh yeah, that introduced me to like what Trigun, Bleach.
Yes.
Let's see, so many. Gurren Lagann.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Gurren Lagann.
It's so funny because I was at a Transformers convention and Steve Blum was there, the voice actor for Tom. But he's Starscream from the Transformers Prime series. And I ended up doing that voice to him, and like he didn't know it was me. He turned around and he was like, "Who? What?" And I was just like, "I ain't saying nothing." And then he turned his head again. And then I did Megatron's voice, and he was just like, "Okay, someone really needs to tell me who's doing that." But I eventually
got a job.
Well, I eventually went up to him, and I was just like, I really appreciate your work, but the one thing I'll always remember you for is Tom from Toonami. And he was just like, well, you didn't turn out so bad then, did you? And I'm like, what the heck is that supposed to mean? And then the conversation cut there, so I'll never know what he meant by that.
You're
But
gonna have to track him down.
I am.
Grab him by the shirt. Hey!
Like, excuse me, Starscream. I have a word for you. Get over here.
Yeah, I love interviewing voice actors. Every time I get an interview of voice actors, there's some of my favorite guests on my show, or just the interview in general, even in my past websites I've worked for, because they can ad-lib so well, and they talk. They just have, I don't know. They have a lot of them have a background in comedy.
Well, yeah, and
stand-up.
they're trained to use their voice as their actor. Like that is what they're acting with. They're not using physical language, so they have to take that physicality into their voice. So of course they'd be fun to interview. I wouldn't imagine it any other way.
Yeah, definitely. I think two of my favorites had to be Matthew Mercer and Mark Meir.
Oh yeah, Mark Meir for sure.
Yeah. And now I have to try to dig those episodes up. That was on my last website I used to work for. But no, those were fun. I love talking to voice actors, and maybe sometime you can have like a voice actor on your show, playing some games and playing along.
That would be a dream come true. If I could ever meet Steve Blum again and be like, Steve, you want to play some Transformers or something? I mean, yeah.
Man.
Dustin would die.
Bulletstorm.
Oh, that's
He's
right.
like,
Yeah.
This is where I had the aha moment when
Take
you
on
realize
me?
something.
No.
Fuck. I'm Fudge. John.
No, you
No,
can
it's
say-
fine.
It's too late. Just keep going.
No, you can say that word right here.
The moment when you realize that one person is responsible for voicing every character you've ever loved. I had that moment playing Bulletstorm where I'm like, this kind of sounds like Wolverine. And I went ahead and looked him up, and I was like,
No, he asked me, he goes, doesn't that sound like Wolverine? I went, yeah, that's Steve Blum.
Yeah.
And he's like, who's Steve Blum?
I
And
mean,
so he looked it up, and you can just see this light bulb going off.
well, like,
Everyone I've ever loved is one person. Sorry, babe.
well, like it's fun. It's like Frank Welker, who did the original voice for Megatron. Like, you look at his list. I mean, he's Fred from Scooby Doo. He's Abu from Aladdin. And he's got like so many different voices he's done that you can just be like, yeah, this guy voiced my childhood.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's always it's so cool.
That's fantastic. Now, I want to know, are you guys Star Wars fans?
Oh, heck
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I know Chad is. I mean, a little bit. He's just a little bit of a Star Wars fan. Not that
Yeah,
big.
I mean, he kind of dabbles.
Yeah. Anyway, but, there's a little movie coming out next month. It's this small little sequel. Barely anybody knows it's coming out. They barely have sold tickets.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, I think it's like a sequel.
They made like $5, right? 50
yeah,
bucks.
Yeah, about maybe
Something.
yeah.
50 million. I don't know. That might be stretching it a bit.
Yeah, definitely. I think it made so far 50 million pre-sales.
Right. They crashed like the internet with those pre-sales.
Oh yeah,
Broke the
Fandango
internet.
just crashed the first day. I mean, the first hour the tickets came out, people kept refreshing their computer because the website just shut down practically.
Well, I've had such wonderful conversations with different prop makers from the community, and we were just talking one day because we had all gotten together for a Star Wars movie watching marathon, and at one point we were talking about all these guys that would drop thousands of dollars on the new Trooper kits and like Kylo Ren cosplays and costumes and stuff, and then we're just thinking what if the movie just absolutely sucks? What if they pull a Phantom Menace? And I'm like, I don't want to think that way. Like, no, this movie has to be good. There's no way it's gonna pull one of those. Like, even if it's not what we expect it to be, it's not gonna be as bad as what the prequels were. There's just no way. There's too much love and dedication and trying to bring back the old while still bringing in new. There's so much respect to the original source material that there's no way it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, definitely. With J.J. Abrams, I've always seen him as this huge Star Wars fan. In fact, when he did Star Trek, the producers originally asked him, "Can you write a Star Trek script?" And he's like, to be honest, I like Star Trek, but I can write a Star Wars script for you.
That's what ticked a lot of people off, is that he was like, I'm injecting Star Wars into Star Trek. I'm bringing in that action, the fast-paced storytelling that's more Star Wars driven rather than the slow burn that most Star Trek movies are. It still has a payoff at the end, but it's probably not what the newer generation or the newer audience members is willing to, I guess, sit through. And that's not saying that it's any less. It's just that we live in a very fast-paced information age where we just want to constantly be we want constant visual stimulation. So I mean, it works, and I even if the older fans don't like Star Trek, I thought they were still really good films, and the fact that he's finally getting to do the thing that he wanted to do from the beginning is, I mean, awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you watch, and I've said this in past podcasts, if you watch the first Star Trek of J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, as they're coming into the debris field out of warp, if you see all the destroyed Federation ships, on the right side, if you pause it, if you have the Blu-ray, on the right side you can see R2-D2 floating in the debris field.
Wasn't he also in the second one
Yes,
when
he
a
was.
hole got blown in through the ship and wasn't he sucked out?
Yep, that was him.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I caught the split second. I'm like, wait a second, I need to get this on DVD when it comes out because I think I saw what I just saw type thing.
You did. So you can see the love is there for Star Wars, and he's going wink wink, hint hint, I want to direct Star Wars. And he's perfect for it, in my opinion. He has not only that passion, but he understands what the fans want and what fans like, and he understands also that he has a responsibility to bring it into the new generation, but also to respect the last generation of Star Wars. So, recently, not too long ago, they released a video showing how he's filming it. He's filming it on film.
Yeah.
And for a lot of the aliens, it's a lot of practical effects, so they're wearing these huge bulky
rigs
suits.
and stuff.
Yeah, in the desert where it's hot. But people are wearing these suits like they did back in the 70s and 80s, And it's just harkening back, to your childhood, going, wow, he really respects this genre and, of filming and also the series in general.
Well, I think what's great about him is I honestly feel like he's one of the last blockbuster directors to still have that sensibility of doing things old school. Like, for instance, the skydiving sequence in the Star Trek film. I think it was the first, I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the first one, but they were just standing on sheets of reflective material that was picking up shots, or that was picking up the reflection of the sky. It wasn't green screened or anything like that. They were just standing on a reflective piece of material. So the fact that he's still bringing in things that are practical, right? I mean, you see set photos and like they're all just green screen or blue screen anymore, and the fact that he's trying his best to bring in the real world parts to Star Wars, which, I mean, this is gonna like open up a wound for me, but like I remember back when the newest Indiana Jones was coming out, and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna be shooting it on old film, we're gonna be using the original lighting kits that we used back then, and they just messed that up in every way, shape, and form. I mean, they CG'd the crap out of that movie, and the fact that he's actually sticking to those guns of being traditional, I mean, it's nice. I mean, it's an aesthetic to the film that you really can't replicate with digital technology. I mean, there's an organic presence to using older filming options and using older lighting. I mean, there's just a feel that you just...
It feels more physical. Like,
yeah.
You can actually, like, that's something you could reach out and you could touch if you were in that world.
And
it's
dirt on the lens and, like, I mean, I would say he gets a little too carried away with lens flares, but... like, when they're inside the mountain, on planet Vulcan, I'm like, where the hell is a lens flare coming in from here? You're inside of a fucking mountain. There's no lens flares. But it makes sense when it's on the ship, so I guess he's just like... And then my favorite thing is seeing him, like, behind the cameraman, just, like, smacking the camera around to get, like, that really, that shake cam. And you can imagine being, like, the gripper, or, like, the cameraman just be like, oh, JJ, stop it! Like, this is a rig that's supposed to give us stable shots, not bat me around.
This is a $20,000 camera.
You got somebody
Probably
looking at the
30,000.
insurance report.
It's like, JJ, no, JJ.
I think
Not covered.
right, and I think one of the things I like about him the most is that, like we said, he is a fan of Star Wars, which I think makes, if you're a fan of something, it will make you a stronger director for it. So
Except for George Lucas.
Okay,
I'm
well,
no longer a fan of my material.
exactly. But I mean, like, he's already a Star Wars fan. So
Are you
I
telling
feel-
me that Michael Bay is not a Star Wars or a
Oh my gosh.
Transformers fan? Are you
Come on,
telling me
come on.
that's
Ninja Turtles fan?
That's a joke. That's a joke. I swear.
Let me finish my thought. But I like that he is a fan of what he does, because if you just compare that to M. Night Shyamalan's destruction of Avatar,
Oh God.
he barely knew anything about that series.
That should have been the name of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. The
Apparently he's
destruction of
gonna do the
Avatar.
sequel.
I know nothing about this series.
Yeah.
Book 1? Question mark?
Water? Question mark?
It should have been Book 1, the Cliff Note edition.
So I mean, that's why I have high hopes for the newest Star Wars coming out, because he's a fan and he likes the practical bits about it and like what made the original one so great.
Yeah,
I would
definitely.
say another director that I feel also really sticks true to that is going to be Guillermo del Toro.
Definitely. Yeah.
Especially, we just saw his newest movie, The Crimson Peak, and we're looking at like the images of the ghosts, and we're like, wow, I can't believe he like went to CG just because of how they were. And then we looked at stills; those were actors in practical.
Nice.
But it was so well done, and it was so like realistic how they created the effects that we just assumed it was CG, that they couldn't do it in practical, and they still found a way to do it.
If he gets the opportunity to do the Haunted Mansion movie like he's hoping, I will lose my shit. Like, that will be the movie I will go see.
Wait,
not the Eddie Murphy version.
Yeah, I was gonna say Eddie Murphy.
His version is going to be about the Hatbox Ghost. At least that's what people have been saying. So if he actually gets to do that, oh my god, I will lose it. I will be like, yes, I will see that movie. I will see that movie opening night, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I love Guillermo del Toro's artistic look at the world. In fact, I was really hoping to see his vision for The Hobbit, because I heard he was originally attached to the films. I'm like, he's going to bring this whole new vision that you've seen throughout all his films that he's either produced or directed into this film, and then poof, he's gone. And Peter Jackson's back. And nothing against Peter Jackson. I love his work. but I wanted to see a new vision for The Hobbit because it's a prequel to the Lord of the Rings series, and we've already seen what Peter Jackson can bring to the table. I wanted to see a director that I respect bring something else, and including artistically to the table, and it didn't happen, and I was really disappointed when I heard it wasn't part of the project.
Yeah. Us too.
Yeah, definitely. So we're actually getting down to the end. I just looked at my timer.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other things you want to talk about? Your your website or YouTube page, URL for the fans to go to?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. So we are currently in a production workflow right now, so the uploads aren't, we're not actually uploading any content currently, but we're slated to start our Season 2 in December.
Yeah, I don't.
2nd? 4th?
I think it's in around the first week of December. I don't know if we have like a solid date, but we're planning on starting to upload again really soon.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to check us out, go to YouTube and you can search Super Geek Friends.
Or you can just go www.youtube.com/Super Geek Friends channel, and you can get to us that way.
Yeah, and then we have a Facebook page, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter. I think that's our major thing.
Instagram. Did we say Instagram?
Yeah, I said Instagram.
Okay, yeah.
And we love being able to talk to people and have back and forth, so we are very approachable. So if anyone does ever want to reach out or they have suggestions or they're like, hey, Amber and Chad, you need to calm the F down.
No, we
You're
don't.
playing your games. Like, we love being able
We
to
get some of the
interact
best
with you.
feedback when we're upset.
Yeah, but we just love being able to talk to people who have taken time out of their day to participate in this thing that we're really passionate about.
And Katelyn and I will be at FanFest. We're sharing a booth. We will also have, if anybody wants to come up and talk to us about Super Geek Friends stuff or check out our art, we'll be there.
Yeah.
Definitely, I will come up to your table and have a little 4 or 5 minute chat with you on video.
Yeah, sounds good.
Definitely. Yeah, FanFest looks to be really fun this year. Might gather a pretty good audience or crowd, considering that Karen Gillan is one of the main guests.
Right.
Yeah.
Too bad Clara Oswald or Jenna Coleman won't be there because of just recently what happened, but I'm not going to spoil anything.
Don't.
The internet already did. Yes, if you don't want to be spoiled, don't go to Facebook.
Got it.
Especially if you haven't watched any WWE tonight, because I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, we haven't. It's Survivor Series was happening while we were here. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I don't want to tell you what happened with the Brothers of Destruction. So
Don't you say a word.
Alright, let's end this. Podcast over!
she actually reaches to the computer and goes, "Oh, what the hell? How is that possible?" It's like science.
Yeah, no, you'd be surprised what an angry Amber can do.
I'm a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Definitely. We can also find you on Facebook and Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah,
Definitely. Just add Super Geek Friends.
correct.
Awesome. Well, I would like to thank Chad and I'm blanking on all your names.
You got Super Geek Chad,
Yep.
Katelyn, Dustin, and Amber.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on tonight to a new episode of JPOOL GNERD Corner. And for all you listeners, make sure to visit their YouTube page and subscribe.
Yes,
the little button
please.
on the bottom, there's a subscribe button. And subscribe to their page. Like their page on Facebook. Follow them on Twitter. And you will get all the awesome stuff. All the stuff and things.
Yep, we're coming back in early December, and we're going to be bringing new shows, a lot more live-action shows. And yeah, we're doing a change in production, and we're just going to be bringing a lot new, stronger, more polished content.
We'll be back with a fury.
Right? Yeah.
Awesome. Can't wait to check it out and watch it, and also recommend it.
And thank you so much for having us on this show. It was a great opportunity.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we really appreciate it, and we had a lot of fun.
All
Yes.
right, well, thank you for
Super.
being on, and also thank you, listeners, for listening to our new episode. Be sure to go to our Facebook at facebook.com/JPOOL GNERD Corner. We're also on YouTube. We also have on Twitter. We're also on a bunch of stuff. I think we have a Tumblr, and I have to work on that one. But thank you for listening, and don't forget to enjoy your chimichanga.